Welcome back to day 5 of the 5P challenge. I'm really glad you're here. This week you have been doing an awesome job working on simplifying healthy eating, learning to eat moderately, and learning how to eat like a normal person, avoid binges, and not feel gross. If you haven't been perfect this week, cool. No one had those expectations for you unless you tried. You had those expectations for yourself that this week was somehow going to go perfectly, even though the last 20, 30, 40 years of your life have never gone perfectly. I don't know why this week would have gone perfectly. We don't become a healthier, happier person by like willpowering and being punitive about food or exercise. That's not going to help us create that healthy and happy life. It is a lifestyle. It is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So let's jump in today. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about weekend eating. We've been talking all week about setting ourselves up so that we feel good and not gross. And strange enough, for a lot of people, perhaps you, even though life is really stressful Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday, sometimes having that structure and routine, like knowing like, okay, cool, like, I wake up at this time and then I get in my car and, I have my breakfast and then I get to work and I have my lunch and then I come home and I have my dinner. Like we have those set meal times during the week. For some people on weekends, it's really tricky because they're like, well, I get up whenever. Or, also they're shuttling kids around. Maybe perhaps you're shuttling kids around to sports games and dance and whatever, all of these different things. So sometimes not having that lunch break that your boss tells you to take, sometimes people aren't eating on weekends. So we'll find this a lot, that a lot of our trouble with food comes down to a lack of prioritizing ourselves. We're prioritized work, or prioritizing kids and events, but forgetting to put our oxygen mask on first. So, I remember when I was a teacher, I always thought like weekends, oh gosh, like I can finally relax. Or even during the summer being like, oh my gosh, like I can finally relax. Or like once the weekend hits, then I'll get my life together. Or once summer hits, then I will have all of this time to do all of these things. And what would happen for me, honestly, on weekends and during the summer was that lack of structure actually prevented me from doing anything I wanted. I would sit and watch a lot of TV and felt really unable to move, right? That like object in motion stays in motion. And so on weekends or during the summer or during winter break, it was like, it felt even harder for me to get up and move and do anything because there was nothing forcing me to get up and do anything. I was like anxious during the work week, anxious during the school year, and then depressed and paralyzed on weekends and during the summer and winter break. So it's not like a really fun place to be. It's not really a fun life to live. But I think also it probably happened because certain parts of my week or certain parts of my year were so highly structured and so stressful, so much to do that I just needed to swing to that opposite and do nothing. That's all I was capable of doing. And so I don't want that for you. If we think about diets, that's kind of how it is, where it's like highly structured. You're counting the macros, you're counting the Weight Watchers points, you're avoiding the list of bad foods. It's like really high structure, high stress. And then we swing to that other place where there's like no structure, there's nothing going on, but we still don't actually feel good. Like we still feel gross, right? So today I want to teach you how to implement light structure on the weekend so that you don't feel gross. So this isn't like a whole bunch of rules that are different on the weekend. This is just light structure, flexible structure, no more of that all or nothing thinking, but light structure so that you don't feel gross. This is really important because you've been feeling gross on weekends. You've been having these like free-for-alls with food for years, decades, all the different diets that you've done, and unless you make a change, nothing is going to change. If you keep doing more of the same thing where you're being perfect Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday you're like, peace out, like I'm not eating a vegetable on the weekends, you're going to keep getting more of the same thing. Every Sunday night you're going to feel sick, you're going to feel gross, you're going to feel ashamed, your stomach's going to hurt, you're going to have digestion issues. Monday, like you're going to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to get my shit together. And it's like, how about we don't get our shit together on Monday to this hyper level of like getting our shit together? What if we just get our shit together a little bit over the weekend so we don't feel gross on Sunday? Okay, so again, I don't want you to be perfect on weekends. I don't want you to miss out on life. I don't want you to avoid events with friends or family. I just want you to learn how to go to those events and feel good and not feel gross. And by doing that, you will change your life. You will change the way you feel about yourself. You will change the way you feel about your body. You'll change the way that you're even able to move in your body. I always like to point out to people that like, I never got down to being like a size 2. Like that's probably not a healthy weight for my body, but like a size 6, a size 8, some of my jeans are a size 10. This is a healthy weight for my body. This is something that I'm able to be pretty effortlessly for my food. Like I'm not hyper controlling about my food, and I'm not working out 2 times a day with punitive exercise. I probably will never be a size 0. But where I was before at a size 14, size 12, size 14, that was not a good place for my body to be. My body felt really heavy. I had a lot of pain. My arms, it would, like if you touched my arm, if you touched my skin, it hurt to the touch. My legs just felt heavy. Putting clothes on hurt. Like I could feel clothes on my skin. That was not a good place for my body to be. Just health-wise, it didn't feel good. And also, I felt disgusting with food constantly. So again, I'm not asking you to cut anything out. We just kind of want to move towards like, cool, eating is pretty effortless. You feel good pretty much most of the time. And so let's see. Let's talk about there are 2 big motivators, okay? There are 2 big motivators. People are like, I don't have any motivation. It's like, come down to this. Think about this. There are 2 big motivators. The one is moving away from pain. So for me, moving away from feeling gross, like that's my thing. Like I just don't want to feel gross. I'm so tired of feeling gross. I make changes in my life when I get sick and tired of feeling gross, and I want to get as far away from that as I can. That is a giant motivator. The second motivator is moving towards pleasure, moving towards feeling good. Sometimes, or most of the time, honestly, getting sick and tired of feeling sick and tired is the thing that pushes us to actually do the effing thing, okay? So if we think about that, I want you to think about your weekends and how you don't want to feel on your weekends. So if you're like, I don't want to feel gross, great. You can write that down. So actually, yes, if you don't have a pen or a pencil or even just your phone, this is definitely something that you're going to want to write down. So like define, how do you not want to feel on weekends? And so you might write down like, every Sunday I have a stomach ache. I don't want that anymore. I don't want to have a stomach ache on Sundays. Or every Saturday you go to your kid's soccer game and you get hot dogs and you get soda and you get popcorn and you're like, ugh, I feel tired the whole day. I feel sluggish all day long. And then I can't even go do the things with my kids. I don't want to feel sluggish, right? So write down how you don't want to feel. And so that's like, that's more physically. You might even write down like emotions, like, I don't want to feel disgusted with myself anymore. I don't want to feel disappointed in myself anymore. I'm sick and tired of feeling disappointed in myself, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. How do you not want to feel? The second thing, what actions are you currently taking that are producing that result? So if you feel really gross, you have that stomach ache, or you feel really sluggish, you feel tired on weekends, what are the actions around meals, possibly movement and sleep as well, but what are the actions that you're currently taking that are producing those results? So for me, waking up and eating cookies first thing in the morning makes me feel gross. Waking up and drinking coffee first thing makes me feel gross. I have a headache like right away. Waking up and scrolling on my phone makes me feel gross. I get a headache from that. I also feel disgusted with myself when I spend, like, that was me last winter, spending the first 3 hours of my day scrolling on social media. I feel gross. Why am I doing that? So I want you to write down, like, be really honest with yourself. What are the actions that you take, that you're currently taking, your current habits that are producing those results that you don't want anymore, you want to get away from, okay? So take some time. You can pause the video and take some time and honestly, like, write this stuff out. I am big with my one-on-one clients and people that do boot camps with me that they need to write stuff out, because if this stuff is just floating around in your head, it's going to stay floating around in your head. Get it onto paper. You start using different parts of your brain, writing it. You start to, like, you're like, oh man, I didn't even realize this. Get it on paper. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do, so that's the pain we're moving away from. Now, what is the thing that we want to move closer towards? How do you want to feel? Sometimes this can feel really abstract because we're like, well, I didn't even know that was possible for myself. But we just want to imagine. You might have seen someone else, or, you know, like someone in the group, or maybe some of the things that I've posted. Like, I don't ever feel gross on weekends. Like, I can go to restaurants. I can go to bars. I can have a drink or 2 drinks. I can have a slice of pizza or 2 slices of pizza. But I pretty much always feel pretty good in my body. I never feel heavy and sluggish from food. I'm always feeling energized. Always might not be the right word, but most of the time, more often than not, I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling light. I feel very light, whereas 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I felt really heavy. 10 years ago, I felt really, really heavy all the time. So now I feel light. So define how you want to feel on weekends. How do you want to feel? You want to be able to socialize. How do you want to feel? You want to feel happy. Then you're going to write, what are the things that you need to do to help you feel that way? So if you want to feel light the whole weekend, you want to feel happy with yourself all weekend, you want to feel, just good, you don't want to feel gross, what are the small things that will help you feel that way? So it's not like, oh, I can't eat pizza on the weekend. No, that's talking about what you don't need to do. We're talking about what do you need to do. So if you're like, cool, if we order pizza, the thing I need to do is eat 2 slices of pizza instead of the whole pizza. That's the thing you need to do. Don't say what you don't need to do. Say what you need to do. The action that you have to take. So I call these non-negotiables. So I have 3 morning non-negotiables, and here they are. They're super, super simple. Some of you be like, why does she even have to name those? And it's like, well, I have to name them because it was a struggle. This was a struggle for me to get done. It was making me feel gross. So I was like, cool, Jacqueline, you have to do these things. So the first thing that I do every morning is I get up and I go outside and I move my body outside. Yes, it is really cold here in Chicago. Yes, I did not go on Sunday when it was 4 degrees. And guess what? Felt gross the whole day. I think I still made the right decision, but every other day I get my body outside and I take the dog for a walk. I take myself for a 1 mile Jacqueline walk or run, but I am outside moving my body. That is my morning non-negotiable. Even on weekends, I get myself outside, move my body. That's my first morning non-negotiable. My second morning non-negotiable is I have to shower and wash my hair and dry it with a hair dryer, straightening it if there's time. But I definitely have to wash and dry my hair every single day. I don't care what hairdressers say. That's something that I have to do. So if I can get myself outside and move my body and I can wash my hair and dry it, I know that I will feel good. The next thing is I need to leave the house. Last winter, I was spending a lot of time in the house, not leaving, not seeing other humans the whole day, and I felt gross. I felt gross all last winter. I thought, oh, this is going to be so nice. This is going to be so cozy. I'm going to wear yoga pants all winter. I'm going to just like stay huddled, and I don't have to shower. It's not a big deal. No, I felt gross. I felt sad. I felt depressed. So cool. I need to move away from that. I need to do these 3 things. Those are really small, simple things. I wasn't like, Jacqueline, you have to be wearing a 3-piece suit or a suit and heels every day, and you need to, have your manicure, and you need to have like your makeup professionally done, and your hair has, no, like that's too big. That's way too big of a jump. The 3 morning non-negotiables I have for myself, even on weekends, is move my body, take a shower, leave the house. That's it. Those 3 things. If I can do those 3 things, I know I won't feel gross. Now for you, if you are working on something with food on the weekends, You might look and you might be like, it's so interesting. Every weekend, I just say F it and I don't eat any vegetables. I don't drink any water on the weekends. I'm rushing around. I have all these things, like whenever. So you might say, okay, I always start my day with, 10 ounces of water. Every single morning, including weekends, I'm going to drink water, right? So we're not saying that you're not allowed to drink soda or you're not allowed to drink. We're not talking about what you're not allowed to do. We're talking about what you're adding in and making sure that you're doing. This is really, really key. A lot of times people are like, I'm not going to eat sugar. And it's like, cool, well, did you define what you are going to eat? Because that's the important part. I'm not going to drink coffee. What are you drinking? What are you making sure that you're adding in and drinking to make sure that you're moving towards feeling pleasure and moving away from feeling gross? Okay. So you might be like, I'm going to drink water on weekends. I'm going to fill up my 64-ounce water bottle, and I'm going to bring that with me everywhere I go, even on weekends. Even on weekends, I am going to drink a shit ton of water. Or you might be like, you know what? I go out with my family for lunch. We take the kids out and go out for lunch, and I usually get a hamburger and fries and cookies and ice cream, and then I feel gross. I don't want to feel that anymore, but I'm still going to go out to eat with my family. When I go out to eat, I am still going to make sure that I have plants and protein with whatever effing meal I get. Maybe you still get the hamburger, but you're still making sure that you're getting a side salad with it. Or maybe you're going to get the taco, but you're still going to get a side salad with it with some protein. Right? So we're talking about what are you going to make sure that you add in. And then maybe, this is a big one. This is a really big one. A lot of people tell me when their partner is gone on weekends and it's just them in their house, they find themselves in the pantry, snacking, drinking wine. And there's nothing wrong with eating snacks and there's nothing wrong with drinking wine. But they feel gross, they feel physically gross, and then they feel emotionally disgusted and upset with themselves. So if you're like, my partner's gone on the weekends, I am going to make sure that even when that happens, I am filling that emotional need that I have, that emotional craving, that loneliness, right? So a lot of times people will emotional eat on weekends because they feel lonely. So it's like, cool, if you feel lonely, eating and drinking was the version 1.0 solution that you had to the loneliness problem. Version 2.0 solution to the loneliness problem would be, I'm going to invite my sister over and we'll do a movie night together. Or I'm going to leave my house and go to my friend's house. I'm going to bring the kids and we're going to go somewhere else, right? So think about that. It might not even be something that has to do with food. You're using food as the solution. You might need a solution besides food and tell what you are going to do. Not what you're not going to do. Don't write down like, I'm not going to drink wine on the weekend. No. Tell me what you are going to do. I am going to drink 1 glass of wine on the weekend. I am going to drink 1 glass of wine followed up by water, another glass of wine followed up by water. Maybe that's your thing. Like, I can have 2 glasses of wine, but I'm always going to follow it up with water. Define what you are going to do. That is so, so important. I always give this example. When I was a first-year teacher, my kindergartners would be walking through the hallway and I'd be running around yelling, like, stop talking, don't do that. But I never told them what I wanted them to be doing. So the simple thing is like, for kindergartners, you're like, great, here's how we put a bubble in your mouth. Here's how we put our hands to our side. Tell them, don't say, don't touch each other. Tell them what you do want to do. You want them to do with their hands. Like your hands should be like this. Your hands should be crossed. They should be in your pockets, whatever it is. You have to tell them what to do, not what not to do. Okay, cool. So remember, the goal of this is to not feel gross AF on Sunday evenings, to move closer to feeling good, away from feeling gross. And honestly, the big goal is that weekends aren't this, when you hear weekend, you hear vacation, you hear holiday, you're like, cool, I'll get to see my family and I'll do an activity that's a little bit different than I usually do. There's some novelty with that. But it's not this, oh, now I'm going to eat all of this food and feel gross and then have to start a diet. We just kind of want weekends and holidays and vacations to be like, cool, I'm going to participate in this event or this occasion and still feel pretty normal around food. Get away from those giant calorie binges where we're eating like 7,000 calories and we're like, oh, why did I do this? I feel like I need to do a juice cleanse to fix this up. No, we just want it to feel pretty normal, pretty low key. There's still some novelty in there. We're still having fun, but everything else is just pretty low key, no giant switches. So great. So remember, in order for this to work, I was just talking to a client. She was saying she did my imperfect eating boot camp last year. And she was like, I didn't really actually start to understand what you were talking about, Jacqueline, until I started participating more. She's like, I didn't even participate until like the last week. And she's like, once I started participating more, then it made sense. So it's like this, when she started taking action, then her brain was able to start to like process these things. She was like, oh, like, okay, cool. Like I have to, actually, Julie said this, like you have to do the thing. You have to take the action in order for it to make sense. Otherwise, it's just like a bunch of words and it's like floating around. You're like, well, that might work. Like, I don't know if that'll work for me. And it's like, cool. Like you won't figure out if it'll work or how to make it work for yourself until you actually do the thing and practice it. So again, you have to practice these things, write it out, practice it over the weekend, practice how can you go about this weekend without feeling gross. And then when you do mess up this weekend, when you mess up, it doesn't mean that this didn't work for you. It meant that was your first practice. And maybe it'll take 2 weeks. Maybe it'll take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5. Like it takes time to practice these things. So give it a shot. And then I would love to hear your thoughts about your weekend. And I would love to see, how do you want to not feel this weekend and how do you want to feel this weekend? That's what I want to hear in the comments below. And then your heads up, Imperfect Eating Boot Camp. This is a 3-week boot camp with me. We start February 10th. Check your email, your inbox a little bit later today. You'll have a special invitation from me with a discount code. This is valid through January 28th. This 5-day challenge was kind of a jump start. You're getting a little, you're getting your toes wet, kind of understanding the meals and a little bit about the mindset about the meals. In the guided coaching program, it's a boot camp. We're going to be like, cool, we're doing this. On Sundays, we're going to talk about meal prep. So we'll spend more time talking about the meals, making sure that we have simple meals that we're actually able to do. And then in the week, we'll have a live coaching call. We all hop on Zoom. It's really awesome. We hop on Zoom and we're like, cool, now we're going to talk about the mindset about the meals. Now we're going to talk about the implementation, the action, all of the mistakes that we're making and figure out and troubleshoot those mistakes so that we can move away from feeling gross and move closer towards feeling good this winter, feeling good this spring, this summer, this fall, next winter. Being in a place where you feel good in your skin, that you're not starting a diet on January 1st, 2021. Oh, that would be so amazing. If you weren't even like searching for the next thing in January of 2021, you were just like, I know how to eat for my body. I'm not doing these giant big, these binges and these swings. I know how to eat for my body. I know how to move my body, and I know how to say kind things to myself. That would be an amazing place to be. So the boot camp starts February 10th. Check your email for more details about it. So excited. You guys have done awesome this week. It has not been a perfect week, but no one expected it to be a perfect week. That's life. Life is super imperfect, and your eating habits and your journey with food will also be pretty imperfect. It's a great place to be. All right, guys, have a good rest of your week and weekend. Chat soon.